Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back. I've gotten a ton of comments and questions about my SIRRIS modded Ultra Bee ever since I installed the F43 front fork and R46 rear shock. Questions about the preload on the install, how to set the sag, and also which compression and rebound settings are the best for jumping and which ones are the best for trail. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over everything that I've done on this bike to make this thing perform just like an MX bike and really increase the bottoming resistance on big jumps. The SIRRIS suspension for the SURRON ULTRA BEE is a fully adjustable MX level suspension that aims to completely transform the bike's overall handling, plushness on the trail, and most importantly, bottoming resistance on big jumps. It comes in 4 different internally tuned variants designed to match whatever your riding type is. The Trail Tune features 246 millimeters of travel and fast, aggressive trail riding on any terrain. The EBMX Tune, which was co-designed with the EBMX team for heavier modified Ultra Bees, 260 millimeters of travel on the fork on this one, and this is actually the tune that is on my bike. I'm focused more on getting better at jumping, so I thought it's a good, versatile option for me at my current skill level, and I can still enjoy trail riding the bike occasionally while I'm learning how to jump bigger and bigger. And the 2 stiffest versions of this fork are the MX and SX Tune. The MX Tune features firm support for huge jumps and faster track cornering, but sacrificing some trail plushness for bottom out resistance. And finally, the SX Tune, which also sports 260 millimeters of travel and extra stiff internal configuration. It's engineered for holding up the stroke on the hugest of hits. And it was designed in collaboration with one of my favorite riders, Pro MX rider Josh Hill. So I know what that one is capable of if he's behind the tuning. So I went with the EBMX Tune for both the front F43 fork and rear R46 shock, and they have been solid for trail riding. Most importantly, it let me get better at jumping. The increased internal and external spring rates on the EBMX Tune, as well as the additional travel at 260 millimeters, can really hold up at the level that I'm jumping at right now, which is like 30 to 40 foot jumps. It requires a bit of effort for it to be fully dialed in. You can't just install the suspension and expect it to perform at its best without some proper rider calibration and other adjustments. Correct spring rate, sag setting, preload on install, as well as adjusted compression and rebound settings are a must. After I installed everything is when the tuning process began. I targeted the recommended 30% rear race sag, used the SIRRIS recommended baseline settings for compression and rebound, and simply started riding the bike. It's pretty hard to tune something if you don't even know what you're tuning it for. So I needed to get some experience on the bike first in the relevant riding scenarios, and then move on from there. When I originally installed the suspension on this bike, I was riding mostly trail. I hadn't really started jumping yet. I could easily ride the trails around here super fast, and the bike just stayed stable and straight, and it would just suck up everything it ran over. Then I wanted to learn how to jump, so we started taking the bike to that old MX track we were going to. And that's really where I first started to see the need for more closed off compression. Even with the compression settings mostly closed on the front and the back, I still found myself really close to bottoming out. And also I'm still planning to mod the motor and the battery on this bike, and that's gonna add some weight. And SIRRIS says if you have the max preload already on the shock and you're sort of at that edge of where the weight limit is, you may want to consider to upweight the spring, and that's exactly what I did. Changing the spring on the SIRRIS R46 shock requires a set of spring compressor tools. They work by compressing the spring securely on both sides, so the spring perch plate that the spring rests on can be removed to release the spring from the shock. Also, due to the overall diameter of the R46 shock being larger than the stock Ultra Bee shock, a larger linkage triangle is required to prevent contact. SIRRIS makes some nice ones with different anodized colors, but I couldn't find it in stock, so I got this EBMX version, which is also fully compatible and engineered to be stronger than the stock part. Sag is a measurement of the bike's suspension compression, both with and without the rider. Ensuring a properly set sag setting is critical to keeping the suspension using its full stroke effectively. This improves the bottoming resistance of the bike on jumps, but also balances the front and the rear suspension for better traction and cornering. Also, checking the sag is a great way to monitor the overall health of the whole suspension system, because if you have a broken seal or maybe a damaged linkage component, you will see it when the bike doesn't settle exactly where it should. There are 2 sag measurements we need to consider. The static sag is the amount the bike compresses under its own weight when taken off the stand. You measure the difference from the center of the axle to a visible, easily repeatable mark on the tail. The race sag measures how much the bike's suspension compresses when off the stand with a fully geared up rider standing on the pegs. This can be done more easily with someone's help to measure, and be sure to cycle the suspension a few times by pulling and pushing down on the seat before measuring. This should be 25 to 30% of total rear travel, and that's 240 millimeters on the Ultra Bee. Rear sag can be adjusted via the preload collar here on the rear shock. Alternatively, there are devices on the market that can attach to the bike and help you to measure the sag by yourself. If any of you guys can recommend one of those, let me know down in the comments below. With the new spring on the rear shock and about 5 millimeters of preload, I achieved the perfect rear ride height I wanted on this bike. And together with those front fork preload adjustments, it made the entire suspension more balanced when jumping. And surprisingly, it doesn't feel too stiff. Compression and rebound adjustments are important. The adjustments on both need to be considered always and tuned together for the appropriate riding. If you ride aggressively jumping and find that you're within 5 clicks of fully closed on the compression, you may want to consider a heavier rear spring. The front sag target for the F43 fork is 12 to 18%. I'm at about 39 millimeters, so roughly 15%. In the future, when I service the fork, I may install the 5.0 springs if I have the need for it. My rear sag target is 25 to 30% on this bike for jumping, and with the new spring, I'm right at 26.5%. So as you can see, there's a lot that's involved to getting the suspension set up right. It's not about just installing it, it's also about getting the tuning right for the kind of riding that you're doing and also your geared up rider weight. I cannot wait to ride this SIRRIS modified Ultra Bee again at our new track that I'll be working on pretty soon and push myself harder so I can really see the limits of this amazing suspension. Cheers guys, see you next time.